We have a major announcement tonight on the show. Is Trump losing his fastball? Chip Roy, January 6th, all that's coming up on I'm Right. Chaos in Congress. Kevin McCarthy keeps losing these bids. Again, I just want to reinforce something to you. We're going to move on from this. I know everyone's talking about it. I want to reinforce something to you. Whichever side of this you're on, just get McCarthy in there. No, screw McCarthy, get rid of him. Whatever side of this you're on. Fighting is almost always a good thing. A good thing. You don't enjoy it. That fight you have with your girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife sucks, right? It's a miserable feeling. No one enjoys that. At the back end of that, you oftentimes come out so much better. Clear the air, get some stuff worked out. Boys will know this, hopefully not girls, but I guess there are those occasions. Boys will know this if you're a kid, high school, middle school, grade school, got a problem with somebody. Maybe we do have to meet outside behind the gym after school. Maybe we got to throw hands and work it out. And you know what happens so often? It's the oddest thing in the world. So often, once that thing's done, someone's got a bloody lip, someone else has a little broken knuckle, you're best buds. End up getting to be best buds with the guy. You got to have a good fight. Have a good fight. And I don't care which side of this you're on. Don't be one of those people, I wish we'd just get along. We have gigantic things to change, gigantic things we need to improve on in this country. And I promise we're not going to get along our way there. We are simply not. It's going to take uncomfortable fighting. Now, let's move on from that. Let's talk about something. Now, believe me, this is going to be political here in a second. Let's talk about something. You ever deal with baseball at all? Baseball pitching specifically? I have a friend, I'm not going to get into all the details of it, but I have a friend who works with pitchers, namely older pitchers, professional pitchers. And I've talked to this guy several times. And one of the things he's told me over and over and over again, he said, Jesse, one of the hardest things I have to deal with is a pitcher who's used to throwing gas. That means fastballs, ladies. Fastballs. Throws really hard. He throws it really hard, really fast. And that's what he's done his whole life. In high school, he threw gas. In college, if he went, he threw gas. In the minors, he threw gas. In the pros, he's thrown gas. He's throwing 98-mile-an-hour fastballs right by people. And that's what he's done for 20 years. That's what he knows. And then he hits 37, 39, whatever, pick the age. Everyone's arm ages differently, but he hits a point, and 98 becomes 97. And it's 96. And it's 95, and instead of striking out 10 batters a game, he's given up 10 runs a game and having to sit, he tells me he's having to sit that pitcher down and explain to that pitcher, buddy, the gas is gone. You need to start throwing curveballs again. You need to start throwing changeups, start throwing sliders. Doesn't mean you're bad. Doesn't mean you're not a pro. Doesn't mean you need to get out of the league. It means the gas is gone. Donald Trump's gas is gone. And hold on, before you scream, throw your MAGA hat at the TV and walk away. Let me explain something. Trump has chosen to, for better or worse, get involved in this speaker race. He came out very publicly and he said, hey, let's get Kevin elected. It's time to let's go. He went all in for McCarthy. Not only did he go all in for McCarthy, he apparently organized a meeting trying to get the deal done for McCarthy. So Trump throws in his lot with McCarthy, goes all in. Now, 2016, 2017, 18, even 19, I would argue, if Donald Trump came out and told Republicans, vote for McCarthy, it's over. It's already done. Donald Trump had that kind of gas back then. That was 98-mile-per-hour fastball Donald Trump. Donald Trump ruled the Republican Party. If you had his favor, you did quite well. If you had his ire, you were basically finished. We could take all hour on the show tonight to list all the useless rhino Republicans whose career Donald Trump ended. So he simply blasted them, ended. They got primaried or retired before they got primaried. Just Donald Trump, if he hated you, it was the kiss of death. You were already done. Grim Reaper, come round him up. That Donald Trump is gone. The Donald Trump we have now, for a lot of different reasons, some his fault, some very much not his fault, he doesn't have that kind of juice anymore. He's going to have to go with different tactics. And you know how you know? Donald Trump's biggest supporters are now not just defying him, they're okay with very publicly defying him. Matt Gaetz nominated Donald Trump to be speaker today, so we're not going to get into that lunacy. But he also came out when Trump was pushing for McCarthy and said, quote, "Supporting McCarthy is the worst human resources decision President Trump has ever made. Sad." Oh, man, he even got a little sassy. Lauren Boebert, as you know, the Jesse Kelly Show's bipartisan hottest women of Congress list champion, current champion. We have another list coming out in the next coming months, so we'll see if she regains her title. But she also is a friend of mine. And not only is she a friend of mine, she's a hardcore Trump person. We're talking the MAGA hat, the works, the Trump endorsement on the website, love Trump, love Trump. She is a Trump person. Lauren Boebert went on the House floor and said this.
Let's stop with the campaign smears and tactics to get people to turn against us, even having my favorite president call us and tell us we need to knock this off. I think it actually needs to be reversed. The president needs to tell Kevin McCarthy that, sir, you do not have the votes and it's time to withdraw. And with that, I yield. Thank you.
Man. Now, you can think whatever you want about that House speech. It shows that the fastball is gone. The days of Donald Trump saying and everyone else doing are gone. Now, what does that mean for Trump politically? It doesn't mean that Trump is done. Maybe you love Trump and you're sitting there sad right now. Jesse, don't say it's over. I'm not saying it's over. I'm not saying that at all. And you Trump haters, don't celebrate. Yeah, you're right. He's finished, Jesse. He's not done. But here's what it most definitely does mean. He is going to have to, it's not an option anymore. He's going to have to change some of his tactics. Not change who he is who he is. He's going to have to change some of his tactics because he most definitely is done if he does what so many of those pitchers do. My buddy told me about him and says, "No, I still got it." And he goes out there and just tries to keep throwing the gas that ain't there anymore. He's done. He's finished. He doesn't have that kind of political juice. He is going to have to go from a man who says go and everyone goes to being a coalition builder again. He can regain that kind of a juice, but he is going to have to change and bring that coalition back together again. It's not that he's lost everyone's support. That's ridiculous. Ignore any idiot who tells you that. But he has lost support, and not an insignificant amount of support. So he's got work to do. Doesn't mean he's finished. It means the fastball can still be there. It's not your number one pitch anymore. And you can't just go out there and throw it the whole game. That's what it means. The truth is, for a lot of reasons, he's been wounded politically, and he needs to heal, and he needs to coalition build. And look, we need him to heal. I don't care if you're a Trump hater. That's fine. Because he might be the nominee. If the primary was held today, he would be the nominee. Because he might be the nominee, we need Trump to heal. Because if the election is in 2024 is between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, whoo, boy, do we need Donald Trump to win that race, and we need it badly. I'm not talking about for your feelings or to be offensive or less offensive. I'm not talking about any of these things. I'm talking about for your pocketbook. We're in some trouble. We've got 2/3 of economists and large financial institutions making some dire predictions about 2023. Now, anyone who watches I'm Right on a regular basis already knows that. I've been telling you what's coming. I've been telling you why it's coming. But hey, even Cardi B's catching up now.
You're gonna go broke soon because y'all not budgeting. I get a summary of the money that's being spent in my home every week. So when I'm starting to see that like groceries is like tripling up, it's like, hey, yo, what the is going on? And like when I go to the supermarket, like I went to the supermarket, I'm seeing that everything tripled up. That like lettuce was like $2 a couple of months ago, and now it's like $7. Of course, I'm gonna say something.
Okay, not exactly how I would put it per se, but you get the idea. Groceries are expensive. And we're in real trouble because the Biden administration is still rolling out Corinne Diversity hire to tell you how great everything is.
We've made significant progress in lowering the prices, gas prices specifically. Prices are down nearly $2 per gallon and are lower today than they were 1 year ago today, this very day.
Once these refineries come back online, do you expect the gas prices to come back down? And the price of gas when the president came into office was $2.39 a gallon.
I know, but I'm talking about 1 year ago, and that was 1 year ago was not when he came into office, right? So.
Oh, no. I wasn't talking about when Trump was in office, just a year ago when we screwed everything up even worse. Look, this is not news to you. According to Gas Buddy, average American expected to pay $2,500 now annually in gas. Average American was paying $1,300 in gas when Donald Trump was president of the United States of America. What does that mean? It means simply not that gas is more expensive. We already know that. It means that you are watching in real time your standard of living go down. And there are all these indicators out there. I've been trying to point these out to you for the last year about why I think something really ugly economically is coming. Because there is indicator after indicator after indicator that something is not right and we're out of whack and it's just not working. Auto sales is a great way to track it. Auto sales dropped by 8% in 2021. Now, 8% it's a weird thing because you see 8% and it doesn't seem like that big of a number, right? It's 8%, it's not even 10%, it's not 50%. You should understand that in the business world, and you people in the business world will understand this. In the business world, if at the end of the year you're down 8%, people are getting fired. There is going to be a DEFCON 3 situation going on at your company if sales are down 8%. Well, nationally, sales are down 8%. It's a really, really, really big deal. And so people are out there still trying to keep up with the Joneses, and it's really hurting them. Carol Roth elaborated on that earlier.
The big challenge, Jesse, is how the consumer is financing all of this. And they're basically financing this by killing their own wealth. We had savings for consumers, personal savings, that peaked in about September of 2021 at about $2.3 trillion. That has come down by the third quarter, so before the holiday season, third quarter of 2022 was about $1.5 trillion. And if you ask the heads of the big banks, it gets worse. If you ask the heads of the big banks and the economists when that's all going to run out, that is going to be the middle of this year. So it means that people are saving less. They're putting more on their credit cards. Credit card debt is nearing $1 trillion. And because people have jobs and because they have this wealth effect, because their housing prices have generally increased over time, it means that the consumers are dipping into their own wealth to finance keeping the economy afloat, which really takes us down the path of you owning nothing.
Sorry. I want you to be ready. I want you to be ready. We got the Federal Reserve out there saying interest rates are going to remain high. For how long? Sometime. Quote, sometime. Boy, that's comforting, isn't it? They're going to remain high for some time. Stock market took a beating last year, 7th worst year on record. No indication that turns around this year. I didn't mean this to be a little 30-second thing where you should be scared, but I'll add one more thing for it, all right? Just one more thing. I brought this up on the show earlier this week. I want to bring this up to you again. I'm not a money guy. I'm not a stock market guy. I don't bonds and stocks and stuff like this. I don't know. I know the very basic. That's why we bring on people like Carol Roth to make you and me smarter at the same time. So I have to farm that out. I have to find somebody. Hey, here's the money I have left over. Invest that for me. Make me some money, right? The guy I have is sharp. He's really, really sharp. and just send him a little bit of money. We send whatever we have at the end of the year into him, trying to invest, trying to put 401k, that kind of stuff. Hey, just build up for retirement. And we had a little bit left over and sent it to him. And he said, hey, you have the option here. I can put this in this savings account, or I can invest it in the market. And I said, well, I don't know. You're the money guy. What do you want to do? And he said, let's just keep it in the savings account for now. The money guy is not investing my money. He put it in a savings account. Do with that what you will. All that may have made you uncomfortable, but I am right. Now here's something that's not going to make you uncomfortable. We have a major announcement, a good announcement, one that'll put a smile on your face, and it's coming up next. You know what else puts a smile on my face? Annoying my wife. I don't know why that is. Probably because I'm a bad person. But one of the things that annoys her the most is when I show off my Grip 6 wallet. It's not that she doesn't like the wallet. It's just that I enjoy so much finally having a wallet that one doesn't wear out. All the little leather ones I had always wore out. My cards start falling out. It locks my cards in. I love that. I love the security of it. And just being able to squeeze it and have all my cards pop up is so much fun. So every time I go buy something now, I pull it out and I kind of hold it over by her face and I just pop it up really quick. She hates it. It's fantastic. Go get your own Grip 6 wallet. They are the best. Made in America, by the way, of course. Made in America. Go to grip6.com. Promo code Jesse saves you money. They also have the best socks and belts I've ever had in my life. Grip6.com, promo code Jesse, all right? We'll be back.
This is The Liz Wheeler Show. Conservatives, this is your wake-up call. Fight back against this destructive Marxist ideology. I will deliver the research, every issue, every controversy. Unapologetic.
I don't think it's ever a tragedy for a baby to be born.
Never backing down.
This is our time. This is our opportunity. Why would we let that go?
If you let these hypocritical, tyrannical politicians take an inch, even with the excuse of an emergency, they will take a mile. So let them take nothing from you, period.
Liz Wheeler is coming to the First. The Liz Wheeler Show premieres Monday, January 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the First TV.
How about that? My friend Liz Wheeler joins the First, premiering January 9th. We actually have really needed somebody who does research on this network, because it's certainly not me. Joining me now, my friend Liz Wheeler. Liz, obviously, congratulations. This is exciting news for everybody. Very happy to have you here. Welcome to the First.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you. I don't think it's ever going to get less surreal to see a promo for my own show. I'm extremely fortunate to do what I do, and I'm so excited to be partnering with the First. The show is moving to 5 days a week instead of 3, so you can get the show Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, wherever you get your podcasts. It will also be available, obviously, on the First TV now, if you would like to watch it that way. I'm so grateful for everything that you guys at the First do. I mean, it's an incredible apparatus of alternative new media that you're building, and I'm delighted to be a part of it.
Shoot, we're happy to have you here. All right, now let's get on, enough of the nice stuff. Let's get on to some other things. Let's talk about Trump for a minute as we talk about the speaker thing and whatnot, which I love that they're fighting. I think it's hilarious. But Trump, okay, so Trump gets involved in the speaker thing. That doesn't go anywhere. He basically gets ignored and publicly called out by his biggest supporters like Gates and Boebert, so that looked bad. I remember when some seers the night of the midterms, or maybe the night after, called out Trump, said time to move on. That looked bad. Now, I'm not sitting here saying, as I said in the open, that Trump is done, but Trump has very clearly lost significant amounts of support. Am I reading that wrong?
No, that's correct. And I talked about this on my show today, actually, because it's been kind of interesting to watch what's happened with Trump unfold. Because one of the reasons in 2015 and 2016 that he was so appealing to the Republican base, and even part of the American people, this white working class vote that wasn't typically Republican, he was able to get this otherwise Democratic voter base to vote for him, was because he was bombastic, right? It was entertaining, it was charming, but only because he was an outsider. because he wasn't a politician, because he was aiming that I'll call BS when I see it attitude at the swamp. And that was something that was very appealing to a large chunk of the American public. But something, Jesse, has changed since then. Something in his perspective has shifted, and I think I know what it is. I think that he has begun to rely on political consultants instead of relying on listening to his base. Now, I don't know whether this is because he's actually hired consultants or whether it's because he's not on Twitter anymore or whether he's so obsessed with the idea of his legacy being Operation Warp Speed that he can't see what his base feels about the vaccine and about the vaccine mandates. But the fact remains, I mean, not just regarding the speaker election, but also his post on Truth Social from a couple days ago, where he was blaming pro-lifers of all people for the lack of red wave in the midterm elections. I mean, this is consultant class narrative stuff from Trump. And, you know, I hope he's listening to this right now. I encourage him to listen. This is easily fixable. Just fire your consultants. Stop listening to your consultants and start listening again to the American people, because that's what worked for you the first time. That's what made you a good politician when you weren't a politician at all.
It sure did. Trump's ability to connect with normal people was what made him so popular. He needs to regain that. I'm sure it's still in there somewhere. All right. Speaking of someone out of touch with normal people, here's a little video of Mitch McConnell and Joe Biden just having an event together.
We all know these are really partisan times, but I always feel no matter who gets elected, once it's all over, we ought to look for things we can agree on and try to do those, even while we have big differences on other things.
Folks, I'm especially happy to be here with my friend and colleague in many years, and I might add, longest serving leader in the United States Senate, Senator Mitch McConnell. Mitch, it's great to be with you.
Liz, part of the reason I'm so indifferent to the speaker race, I don't really care. They can go throw poop at each other for all I care, is this kind of crap. I am so disenfranchised with the GOP. You would never in a million years see a Democrat senator do an event with Donald Trump when he was president or something like that. It's like we don't want to win. I find it pathetic.
Yeah, it's infuriating. I mean, I can't say that I'm surprised in this particular case that Mitch McConnell would be buddy-buddy with the Democrats. He's never been a conservative. He's been a very useful politician. He is a skilled politician. So he's been very useful to the Republicans, especially during the Trump administration when he got so many judges not nominated, but confirmed in the United States Senate. That was an incredible achievement, and it led to the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade. So credit where it's due. A lot of that credit does go to McConnell, but McConnell's not conservative. This is a problem the Republican politician class has, is they're naive. They actually have no idea what's going on in the world. They're ostensibly in Washington, D.C. to fight for our liberty and to fight against threats to our liberty, but they don't acknowledge the reality of the political enemy that we're facing. And if you don't acknowledge that reality, then you're not going to fight back against it well. So it manifests the way that it did here with Mitch McConnell, acting like we have something in common with the left. Jesse, you'll notice that when these politicians talk about, John Kasich was doing the same thing on Twitter, talking about a coalition candidate for speaker or some nonsense like that. I always want to ask them, what do we have in common with the left? What issues are you talking about that there's crossover on a principle level or at this baseline foundational level? What are you talking about? Because we don't agree on border security. We don't agree on the exceptionalism of our nation, of America. We don't agree on parental rights. We don't agree on critical race theory. We don't agree on the role of the FBI and law enforcement in our nation. We don't agree on the free market economy. We don't agree on anything. I can't name one thing that the Democratic Party in their platform where there's a crossover with the Republican Party. So these politicians like McConnell who pretend that there's a crossover, they're incredibly naive. They're actually being manipulated and exploited. They're pawns of the Democrats. And the word you used, unfortunately, is correct. It's pathetic.
It is pathetic. 100% right. Joe Biden, in the meantime, is going to visit the border. Here's a little video.
Are you going to be visiting the border when you head down to Mexico?
That's my intention. We're working out the details now.
Liz, this guy has avoided the border like a feminist avoids cooking. He's now going to the border after the midterms. Why?
Well, listen, I might differ a little bit from the rest of conservatives on this, I don't really care if Joe Biden visits the border. I care what his policies do to impact the border. Yeah. Joe Biden going to the border is just going to be a photo op, right? They're just going to paint him in a positive light. They're not going to allow journalists to ask him the tough questions. They're not going to put him in a situation where he's seeing these caravans crossing the border. He's not going to be staged nearby to the hundreds of thousands of Americans who are dying of fentanyl overdoses. He's not going to see women who've been sexually abused by the coyotes and the cartels being trafficked across the border. None of that's going to happen if he visits the border. All he's going to do is try to make it a quote-unquote humanitarian crisis in the way that it's not, meaning he's going to blame Border Patrol, he's going to blame ICE, he's going to use this as a venue to push amnesty on the American people. So I don't care if he visits the border. What I care about is our country. I care about our sovereignty. I care about securing the borders so that we can actually be a nation. I care about the women who've been assaulted and sexually exploited. I care about all of the people all across our nation who are suffering from the opioid crisis, the fentanyl crisis, which is a result of these open borders. I care that the Biden administration has continued catch and release, that they have stopped remain in Mexico, that they are doing everything in their power to make the border as porous as possible, starting with, Jesse, Joe Biden's invitation to illegal aliens at the beginning, or during his campaign, I believe it was, when he actually said, come on into America, we'll let you. That's what I care about. I don't care if he goes to the border himself.
Liz Wheeler, the Liz Wheeler Show comes here. You can get this full time now, January 9th. Liz, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jesse. I appreciate it.
Maybe you thought mask mandates were gone. That's hilarious. Dr. Jay Bhattacharya. I love saying that name. He's going to join us next. We're going to talk about it. Now, let's talk about that timeshare you're stuck in. Look, there's no judgment here. Do you know how many stupid financial decisions I've made in my lifetime? And I'm not even calling your decision stupid. Maybe you bought a timeshare. Maybe you've enjoyed it. And then maybe you got older. Maybe you got over it. Maybe the kids moved away. But maybe you just want out. I don't know. But you want out and they're telling you, sorry, you can't get out. Should have read the fine print. Page 95, paragraph Q. You can get out. They're lying to you. Lone Star Transfer caught on to this scam that timeshare companies threw a long time ago. And they've been helping families legally and permanently get out of their timeshare. 18,000 of them. They didn't start yesterday. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. You are one phone call away from freedom, so make that phone call. Call Lone Star Transfer and let them get you out. 844-310-2646. 844-310-2646 or LoneStarTransfer.com. We'll be back. You ever heard of bad lip reading? It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious where they take a conversation between two people that you can't hear and they actually make it look real. They make up a conversation between them. So for today's Light in the Mood, bad lip reading, we want to give them a shout out for this. Matt Gaetz had a conversation with AOC on the House floor. Who knows what those two were talking about, but man, bad lip reading, they killed it.
I've heard that the floor asks for shrubs to be put in the common areas.
Yeah, you're right.
We will not let this slide because, like, when you
obviously
do that,
we'd put in some rocks too.
Oh, interesting. All rocks are my friends. I didn't know.
That's so good. And speaking of bad lip reading, I should have played this earlier in the show. Joe Biden had to do a little presser today with Dome, and well, he couldn't quite get through a whole sentence, so he had to get Kamala to come in and help finish him off.
Thank you, Sophie.
Are you still monitoring the speaker's race? Are you still watching the speaker's race?
I'm following with great, how can I say it? Attention.
That's so embarrassing. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.